Welcome back to Fantasy Football Today, presented by BetMGM. It's now time for start, bench, cut. I give the guys 3 names at the same position. They say who they want in their lineup, who they want on their bench, and who, if they had to make a decision, they would be cutting. So let's start with the quarterback position here. We got 3 rookie quarterbacks. You got Caleb Williams, Bo Nix, and Drake Maye. Heath, you go first because you have Bo Nix ranked as a top 12 quarterback. He's number 12 for you taking on the Carolina Panthers. So start, bench, cut, Caleb, Bo, Drake.
I'm starting Bo Nix, and here's why. Listen, my early rankings are based heavily on projections, and projections in terms of touchdowns are based on what Vegas says in terms of implied point total. Bo Nix's Denver Broncos are playing the Carolina Panthers. Everybody scores against them. They have a 26.5 point implied total early in the week. That's like the 3rd highest on the entire slate. Bo Nix has scored 8 of the 11 Broncos touchdowns so far this season, has the 3rd most red zone rush attempts amongst all quarterbacks, and has 136 rushing yards over his last 2 games. I'm benching Caleb Williams. I'll cut Drake Maye.
I second that.
Wow. Okay. I'm going to start Caleb Williams here. He's taking on a Washington defense that's been pretty bad. The nice thing about Bo Nix is, you said it, he scored most of their touchdowns, except last week when the run game got going and everybody runs on the Panthers. I think Javonte Williams has a big game, but I do like that Bo Nix has 64 yards rushing or more in each of his last 2 weeks. But I'm going to cut Bo Nix. I'm going to keep Drake Maye because I like the rest of season schedule for him in the fantasy playoffs, and I think that's going to matter. So I'm going to keep Drake Maye on the bench. I'm going to start Caleb Williams. I'm going to bench Bo Nix. But all 3 of these rookie quarterbacks starting to show some signs of life, and we know Jaden Daniels unfortunately not going to play this week. At least that's the way it's trending. But these rookie quarterbacks are all performing for fantasy managers, which is fun to see. Next start, bench, cut we have is at the wide receiver position. Also 3 rookies: Malik Nabers, Brian Thomas Jr., Marvin Harrison Jr., Robert Turbin. Start, bench, cut. Malik, Brian, Marvin.
I'm starting Brian Thomas Jr., I'm benching Malik Nabers, and I'm cutting Marvin Harrison Jr.
I'm still starting Malik Nabers, but it is a tough matchup, and I may feel dumb for saying that. I will bench Brian Thomas Jr., and Marvin Thomas. I will bench Brian Thomas Jr., and I'm going to cut Marvin Harrison.
I think we're all in agreement who we're cutting. I'm going to start Malik Nabers as well. It's not like Brian Thomas Jr. doesn't have a bad matchup either. I mean, we just saw what this Packers team did to the Texans passing offense and shutting down Stephon Diggs, shutting down Tank Dell, who had 0 fantasy points. But Thomas is a matchup buster. Hopefully that happens again. But I think Malik Nabers, when he's right, still has a little bit more of a higher ceiling. I just hope that Daniel Jones on the road shows up like Daniel Jones does on the road, because Daniel Jones at home has been miserable, and the Giants were bad last week. Next one we're going to is 3 wide receivers that have had things change for them. So 2 guys that were traded, Devontae Adams and Amari Cooper, and George Pickens getting a new quarterback. So Heath, who are you starting, who are you benching, who are you cutting? Devontae Adams now on the Jets, Amari Cooper now on the Bills, and George Pickens now with Russell Wilson as his quarterback.
The easiest one for me is the cut, and I'm cutting Amari Cooper. Pickens and Adams are very, very close for me. I'm going to start George Pickens. I'm going to bench Devontae Adams. I'm going to cut Amari Cooper.
Wow. Actually, cutting Amari Cooper is not as easy as you made it sound. I'm actually going to start Devontae Adams in this situation. Amari Cooper, George Pickens are much closer to me in this situation. I'm going to lean towards Amari Cooper on my bench, and I'm going to cut George Pickens.
I guess we're all over the place here. I'm going to start George Pickens. I agree with Heath on that one. I think just what we saw with Russell Wilson taking on the Giants, they've been bad against opposing wide receivers. I think Pickens' ceiling is hopefully going to show up here. I'm going to bench Amari Cooper because I'm going to just be the ageist again, and I'm going to cut Devontae Adams, who shares the field with a very, very, very solid wide receiver in Garrett Wilson, and he might not be going away. So Devontae Adams still has a lot to prove, even though he's got the longest history with the quarterback that he plays with. All right, last one we'll do here is at some 3 tight ends. We got Brock Bowers, David Njoku, and Trey McBride. We know Bowers has been awesome and benefits without Adams there. Njoku now could be the number 1 tight end, certainly has top 3 upside. And Trey McBride still doing a very solid job coming off a bad game against Chargers. But Robert, who we starting, who we benching, who we cutting? Brock Bowers, David Njoku, and Trey McBride.
Right in order. I'm starting Brock Bowers, I'm benching David Njoku, and I'm cutting Trey McBride.
I will start Bowers. I would start Njoku over McBride this week, but I always think of that bench as rest of season, so I'll bench McBride. I'll cut Njoku.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go that route also, just because who knows what the Browns do if they go back to DTR. That would be bad, I think, for Njoku, but Brock Bowers is the easy start. He's just been fantastic. What a rookie season he's having. All right, we're going to take a break right now. We come back. It's all your tweets. Send them to us on Twitter, X, using the hashtag AskFFT, and that's what's next here on Fantasy Football Today.